beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. By the way, if you want to learn what I teach in my training, I teach people how to use their smartphones or cell phones to start a business. I've been doing it since 2024. 2020. It's worked for me for 4 years. Helped to retire my wife, even though she works every once in a while. We don't need her paycheck. That's what I should say. And set us financially free. In fact, we're getting ready to do a road trip because we control our time and we can do what we want to do. On pace this year to do 350K, which is the most I've ever made in my life. So I'm thankful for that. And but if you want to learn how to use your phone to make money, put the word middleman in the comments below. So today, let's see, today is Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Texas time, I'm going to be doing a live training, teach you how to do what I do. So if you have about 45 minutes or an hour, promise I'm not going to keep you long. I'm going to try to bless you and change your life though. So tap in and join me in the live Zoom training. So I'm doing this video. Why? Because I just left the gas tank, right? Gas station. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, so here's my routine. I'll pull up and you guys might do the same. By the way, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up, welcome to the channel. So I'll pull up at the gas station and let me fix this camera, guys. Give me a second. Let's see if I can get that right. So I'll pull up at the gas station, put the card in, protect the password and all that stuff, whatever, right? And I'll put the card in, and then what I do typically is I'll start cleaning out trash from the back seat where the kids are, cleaning out whatever's in the truck. So I'll start doing a little cleaning routine while the pump is going. And so I'm almost like I'm on like a quarter of a tank, and I usually don't even let it get beyond half a tank, and I'll fill up again. And so this time I'm letting it go, and then I look up, I hear the noise, bam, the gas pump stops. I look up at the gas tank, and at the numbers on the pump, and it's $40. Now, mind you, I'm in a regular SUV, number one. Number two, regular size SUV. Number two, I already had a little over a quarter of a tank, right? And so I wasn't on E or anything like that, but $40 to put just like 3/4 of gas. And so if I was on E, it would probably take about $50. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, man, I remember when I was poor, and I would go to the gas station, and if it took $40 or $50 for me to fill up that pump, it was not going to happen. And fast forward to today, I don't even think twice about it because my car needs what to run? It needs gas, and despite whatever the prices are, it doesn't matter. My car won't run without it. And so I'm sitting there, I'm cleaning out the vehicle, and I hear the pump go off. I look up, $40, and I'm like, wow, this thing could have very easily been $50 for the average person just to fill up. And $50 for the average person to pull up at a gas tank and just get it, boy, that could be tough, because I remember for me when that was a really hard thing to do. So even just pulling up and getting gas could be very, very stressful in someone's life today. And it does not feel good, because like I said, I've been there where I'm like, wow, this thing keeps going. I can only afford $10 of gas. I've been there where, you come home from work or whatever piece of job you might have, and there's a in Louisiana, there's a green eviction notice waiting for you on your door. That is not a good feeling, but I've done it. I've come home to where I've got a disconnect notice in my mailbox for, in fact, I used to be behind on my bills so much that I didn't even take my bills seriously. This is a God honest truth. I didn't even take my bills seriously until I got a disconnect notice. So what they would do is they would send you the bill and your balance. They would say, hey, it's due by this date. And then if you don't pay it by this date, you get another letter, which is a disconnect. Hey, if you don't pay it, in the next 5 days, on this day, this power will be cut off, this water will be cut off. And I didn't even take the bill seriously until I got a disconnect warning. And then, and only then, would I get up to go do something about it. That's how poor I was financially, but most importantly, that's how poor I was mentally. I was so beat up, so behind, that a trip to the gas station would stress me out. I was terrified of putting my card into the pumps. In fact, I remember, because this is a true story. A lot of you like see my videos now. You see me in a nice home with my family, beautiful neighborhood, nice vehicles and stuff like that. And and you might think, all right, this guy doesn't look like somebody who's been in a bad situation. No, what I'm telling you are facts. So not long ago, I was in that situation. My life didn't change until 2020. So imagine that, just 3 years ago and some months, 4 years ago is when my life changed. Other than that, I would still be struggling. So pulling up to a gas station is stressful for most people. And it was stressful for me. I remember the days of pulling up saying, hey, let me get 10 on this pump, right? I remember the days of pulling up and swiping the card and hoping to God that the pump would accept it, because you don't have any money. And because I used to go to like I want to say it was a Circle K, and Circle K would like approve your card even if it was like low on funds. And now you can fill up your vehicle and that your bank account's going to go negative. But if you fill it up on a Friday, that gives you 2 days to try to get that money back. That's how I was living. You want to talk about financially struggling? Yeah. So, when you're down like that and you're living like that constantly, it's very stressful. It weighs on you, it weighs on those around you, and it's not fun. And I don't ever tell you guys that it was fun. I had a great time. I didn't mind living below my means. That's why when people comment on these videos and they're like, hey, you could just live below your means. Why would you want to practice living below your means? Now, I always say, don't live below your means. Grow your means so you can live the way you want to live. Now, that does not mean that if you have things that you pay for that you don't need or you don't utilize, like if you've got like, say, I don't know, internet, and you're paying a ridiculous amount for the internet, you could probably find a cheaper internet option. Let's say you have something that you don't need at all, right? And you're spending $100 a month for something that you don't necessarily need and it does not help you. Then sure, you can cut the cable off because it's not helping you. You can watch YouTube for free. And by the way, if you're broke, you're making less than $10,000, $15,000 a month, you don't have time for television. You don't have time for cable TV. You don't have time for that stuff. You don't have time. And then when you do start making money, don't go out and just buy stuff to impress broke people. You ever notice that the only people impressed by what you drive, what you wear, where you live, who you're with, the only people impressed by that are broke people. The rich don't care. You find somebody that's making $250,000 a year or more, they don't care. They don't know what's going on. They don't know that Drea Michelle, if that's her name, I apologize if it's not, is dating, I'm in Dallas, so I'm pointing towards Houston. The guy down in Houston, the basketball player, they don't care. Every time I see those headlines and they're like, what do you think about this? Is she grooming him? Is she a predator? What? I just sit there and think, that's none of my business. It ain't my business. I don't have time. And you guys got to get the same mindset to where you're like, hey, this is not helping me. I'm not about to spend brain waves on this. I'm not about to waste time on this. I'm not going to sit here and read through this for an hour. Who's going to give me that hour back? I could be reading a book to better my life for an hour. Right? And we got to get conditioned that time is more valuable than money. In fact, my wife has a Tesla, right? And so we were driving around looking at like the pumps or whatever, finding where the pumps are or deciding where to get one installed at the house. And because we don't know anything about that. And so we were riding around checking some things out. And my wife was like, hey, over by the AT&T stadium, there's some pumps. We went to look at it. And she was like, I could just drive over here, spend an hour here. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, just every time I need a pump, instead of like having to hook it up at the house, because we don't know anything about that, we just come over here. And I was like, she was like, but it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And I was like, is it? She was like, yeah, it says right there, it's a free whatever charge, the EV pumps or whatever. And I forgive me if I sound stupid. I don't know anything about this stuff, but I'll learn, and you guys can educate me. And so, because the pump looked very complicated. And so she was like, yeah, it's free. It's not going to cost me anything. And I was like, is it? She was like, what do you mean? Because I know that look. She knows that look on my face, right? And I was like, you said it was going to cost you an hour to come sit here, right? She was like, yeah. And I was like, so the free pump in exchange for your time? And I said, I've been telling you, because we're learning together, but I have to program my wife, and not in a bad way, because my wife grew up in a home where her parents were married for 30, 40 years. Her parents did the right thing, went to school, got degrees, got jobs, put their kids through college. All that stuff is great, deserves applause, and they did a great job. I just tell you that what they were able to accomplish is not the world we live in today. They were able to build a house, pay the house off, have a job for 30, 40 years, retire, have a little money. That's not the reality of today. Companies don't want you for 40 years. They're trying to replace you today. While you're sleeping or out with your friends, they're looking for some AI or for some systems or programs to get you up out of there, to replace you. Absolutely quick. Especially if you got a union at your job, they're coming after you because they hate unions. I promise you. That's a fact. And so if you're like, I'm part of the union, okay, all right, you'll be the first to go. They'll close that business to get rid of you. So I know Elon Musk would. So, but again, I'm like, so it's going to cost you an hour to sit over there for an hour. You're going to sit over there for an hour, and you're going to charge and whatever, right? And so she thinks that being there for an hour is free for her. No, it costs you an hour. The hour costs more than any amount of money. I'd rather spend, I don't know what they cost for an hour, but I'd rather spend $20 doing it and keeping my time. Like when people are driving around the city looking for gas that's cheaper, you're wasting time. Just pay for the gas. So those are things that drive me nuts. I just want you to know that when you're financially not where you need to be, everything is stressful. Everything costs too much. Everything is unaffordable, right? Everything is like critical mass. Like, hey, if I buy this, I might, set myself back. Or if we buy this, we might be in a terrible financial situation for the next 30 days. Like, so we've got to get to the place where it's not scary to buy the things we want to buy. It's not terrifying to live the way we want to live. And all of it's acceptable. Because think about it, we accept the opposite. We accept that it's going to be a struggle. We accept that we don't have the money. We accept that we can't afford houses like this, yards like this, neighborhoods like this. We always say that stuff, but at the end of the day, I submit to you that yes, you can. If you've changed the way you think about things, things will start to turn around. So you can't be out here just claiming poverty. You can't be out here just wanting to live and get by. That's what life's going to give you. Did you know that life will give you what you ask of it? If you ask it for nothing, it's going to give you nothing. You find someone who's achieving absolutely nothing, and I promise you, they haven't asked life for anything, and they've been rewarded. Well, you do kind of ask life for nothing by asking it for nothing. And that's a hard way to live. So everything's stressful, but thankfully, when I pull up at the gas station, I'm not stressed out at all. I don't care what it costs. I need it. Got to have it. When I take the family or go out with some friends to eat, doesn't matter. My wife is about to go out with her friends here in Dallas and have brunch or whatever it's called, right? And she might pick up the bill. It doesn't matter. She's not even going to think twice about that. It's not going to be $1,000 bill, but you get what I'm saying. I've been out to places where I'm like, Can you take this off? How much is the lemonade? $5. Wait, no, I can't do lemonade. And I've been out and I've done things like that. So, but we go out at a restaurant. We go out. One of her favorite restaurants here is, I think, Texas Roadhouse. So we'll go to Texas Roadhouse. The bill, with just us and the kids, and her parents might come to, $150. My wife will pull out the car. Hey, got that. Don't worry about it. Don't think twice about it, right? And but that's a much better way to live, as opposed to we could probably go out once a month, and we got to be kind of careful with that. That's not a good way to live. So, but we try to do our best, and I try to do my best to share what I've learned with you, and in hopes that it helps you and at least changes the way you think about things. Because you can live the life you want to live. You just got to put a little bit of work into it, commit to the process, and get some things done. And if you do that, these people cannot drive. Oh my God. Sorry, y'all had to see that. There's some bad driving people in my neighborhood. Good Lord. So, but anyway, guys, just wanted to share that with you. All right, I got to go. I got a meeting. If you guys want to join me tomorrow, Sunday night, I'm doing a live training, 7 p.m. Dallas time. And I'm going to be teaching you what I do, start your own middleman business using only your smartphone. So use your phone to make money. You don't have to be rich. You just got to make enough to replace your job, and you just have to make enough so you can have your time back. Life ain't always about money. It's about time more than it is about anything else. So I hope this helps you in some way. Put middleman in the comments if you want to get into that live training. If you want to skip all that, go right into building your business. Then I'll drop a link for the masterclass. You can click it, get it while it's on sale, and I'll be with you throughout the entire journey. And we're going to change your life. All right. Have a great day, guys. Be safe, be blessed, and peace.